Hello and welcome to the webinar. The webinar will be a deeper dive into the intestines and what we call the bowel and metabolism cure that seems to be quite popular right now. My name is Dr. Sven Werchan. I'm a nutritional specialist and I have been working with LR for 15 years now to support the company in developing products, doing studies. I'm member of the scientific board and I'm available for seminars, webinars, and responsible for communication to partners. So let's start and go into the content. We're going to talk a little bit, of course, because of the short time, a little bit about the bowel system and how the products work there. First of all, our intestines are the oldest organ in the animal kingdom. So everything started with a very simple gut system, and then it became more sophisticated and larger within us. The bowel system represents the largest contact surface with the outside. So sometimes of course, we believe our bowel system is in the inside, but actually it's the surface that is kind of inside of us, like a tube that's running through the whole body. Our intestines are at the same time the largest metabolic and the largest immune organ of our body. So it's very important, and it represents the kind of second brain. So we have a large number of nerve cells around the intestines that communicate with the brain, that feel not just what's going on inside, but also outside. We know this, that we have a gut feeling, and we know this kind of work. So the intestines are very important for our health, for our immediate health, but also for our long-term health. And so it is the opportunity for us to do something for our health if we approach the intestines intelligently. To understand what LR and other companies offer, it is important to see that the issue of health today is quite different than in former years or in former periods, because we have many diseases today that are related to lifestyle factors, to things that stresses our bodies. And just to mention a few, of course, that is the issue of nutrition. Nutrition is not per se unhealthy, but it is quite challenging in this world to keep up with a good and healthy nutrition, especially in combination with the fact that we sit around a lot. We work on desk, and so the level of physical inactivity rises up. And so the axis between the calories we take in, actually the food we eat, and the calories we actually use in physical activities, is very important to consider. So overweight and adipositas are some factors that come if the intake and the usage of calories is not in balance. And then, of course, stress is maybe the most or the biggest danger of our health, according to the WHO, because there are a lot of changes in our metabolism, in the balances of our neurotransmitters, in the immune system, also in the gut system, due to stress, especially chronic stress. And then, of course, we have the issue of environmental pollution. So we have a lot of stuff out there that comes into the body, and it comes through the gut system, and it influences the gut system. It influences the body in many different ways. And of course, all these factors are interrelated. they support each other, they strengthen each other, they influence each other. Yeah, I mean, this is really so. Or please consider these factors. They are not valid for everybody, but the issue of nutrition, the issue of physical activity, exercise, the issue of stress, how to deal with all the information, how to deal with the pollution outside, is for all of us an issue. For some people more, some people less. So the body responds and reacts to these kind of factors. For instance, and just to mention a few, with acidosis, with an insufficient supply, that can be a consequence of unhealthy nutrition. So all these factors influence the intestinal flora. It can come to an alteration, what we call the dysbiosis. And there are more factors like chronic inflammation that are a consequence of these kind of stress factors, of these kind of burdens for the body. If we don't act accordingly, if we don't respond in a wise way, in a healthy way. And so lifestyle related diseases occur when we are not able anymore to regulate these factors, these stress factors. So everybody has a specific regulatory capacity. It is stronger when we are young. It is stronger in some people who has a lot of vitality, and it's weaker in other people, and it becomes weaker when we grow older. So sometimes people can take a lot of stress and other people break down under the same stress. And that's also true for environmental pollution. But we all have limits. We all have limits to this capacity. And if we go beyond the limits, yeah, then quite a lot of diseases can occur. And because of this increase of stress and the increase of these issues that I mentioned before, we can see that more and more people are suffering from, for instance, irritable bowel syndrome. And this syndrome stands for 50% of all the syndromes in the bowel system. So all the other diseases in the system make the other 50%. And you see, for men and for women, it's growing numbers. And that's true for many different diseases like colitis and morbus Crohn. And so it is just for you to see that lifestyle-related diseases, diseases are something that's growing in numbers, and lifestyle-related diseases are not just in the bowel system; they're also in the in our metabolism, like diabetes and high blood pressure, and the fact that 50% of the people in the Western world are overweight has a lot of consequences. Yeah, you know this. Even various types of cancer can be a consequence of lifestyle, like smoking, like eating too much meat, and more, and it comes with the chronic stress, depression, and burnout, and all the consequences are also lifestyle-related diseases. Lifestyle-related diseases account for about 70% of all the costs in the healthcare system today. So it's very relevant, and not just because of the money we spend to deal with these diseases. And please consider, if you don't change something in your life, we as doctors, we can only manage these diseases with medication. Yeah. So people take for 20, 30 years medication to manage diseases that are consequence of their lifestyle, instead of changing the lifestyle or changing the origin of these diseases, and to get rid of the medication. And also, of course, these diseases cost lives. Yeah, people die, especially from diseases from heart and vessels, 50%, cancer, 25 to 30%. And it costs us a lot of quality of life, joy of life. So it is worth to look at these facts, because the good news is, if the diseases are related to our lifestyle, changing in lifestyle can also help to cure the diseases. And that's the good news. And this is why we're talking about here today, about a cure. So to bring it to a very simple picture, there's a saying in German, du bist, was du isst. So it doesn't work so much or so good in English, but of course, everybody can understand that each cell, each molecule in our body, what we consist of, has been something that we ate before. We consist of that what we ate before from our nutrition. So you are what you eat and how you live your life. And so let's look at the good things here, because lifestyle factors can also strengthen the body. Yeah. And then, of course, we start with nutrition again, with a stable supply of micronutrients, of all the nutrients like fiber and all what we need. We can go on that we have every once in a while to think about how to cleanse and detoxify our body from all these pollution that we take in through the nutrition, through the air, through the water, yeah, through the skin. So we can. So the best way to balance the body and to strengthen the body is to give it rest, to go to sleep well. That's still the best method. And of course, to exercise, to play, to be outside in nature. All these factors are interdependent, of course. They strengthen each other, they support each other, and they strengthen the body in order to deal with the stresses. Yeah, we do it for our health, and we do it for our strengths to deal with the other factors. Yeah, to balance the burdens, to balance the stresses, and that's very important. So when you give advice to people in terms of LR products or in terms of health coaching, whatever you do outside, then we do not, or our partners do not treat diseases. So we help people to strengthen the body. Yeah. So actually, we are doing two things at the same time, with recommendation of products, and not just products, also with other recommendations you can and you should make. You reduce stress and burden. For instance, you can reduce hyperacidity in the body through ProBalance. You can reduce and eliminate dysbiosis, yeah, a poor intestinal flora, through Pro12. You can reduce chronic inflammation through aloe, through super omega. So to make it simple, burden down, that's the message. And at the same time, you strengthen the body, you strengthen the intestinal system by recommending products that support a stable supply, or recommending products that would help the body to cleanse, to get toxins out, or to support the body in terms of the intestinal flora, to strength up. And what could be the result, or what is the result? We strengthen the body's capacity to regulatory or its regulatory power. So the body's capacity to self-heal again. Yeah. If you take away the burden, or if you reduce the stress and the burden, and then at the same time detoxify, give the body what it needs in terms of micronutrients, then the body has the power to regulate the internal systems. to self-heal. And that, of course, can have consequences in terms of symptoms, in terms of diseases, in terms of the medication you use. But you should not say, now you have the products, you can get rid of your medication, especially not make to say it's going to happen in a week or in a month, because the body is a very complex system and we never really know how much regulatory power a system actually has. It depends on other lifestyle related factors like smoking, like alcohol, that we cannot see, or factors we cannot comprehend from the blood, from the genetics. And also it depends on what I mentioned already, the age. Yeah, younger people have more power here, older people it is less. But that's also a reason why older people need more support in terms of products, in terms of supply and all of that. So the most, or here, please consider more things, that the point here is, I get a lot of emails from people asking advice for specific illnesses. I understand the question because that's the typical thinking of modern and Western medicine. You have a disease or a symptom, and then you have a specific medication. So many LR partners think there's a disease, there's a symptom, so let's have a specific recommendation. But please consider there are 100,000 different medications out there, at least in Germany alone. And so we have only 25 different lifetime products. So this system cannot work. But what I said so far gives you a clue that regardless of the type of illness, regardless of the illness, you can always do something for your well-being and your health. You can always support the body in self-healing. That's always true. You can always support the body in terms of self-regulating power. Yeah. Actually, only a few diseases you cannot do something about. Yeah, you can always do something to support. And actually, most of the time we can contribute a lot in positive way. And for some lifestyle related diseases, it's even true that we can fix them by changing our lifestyle, by changing our diet, by changing our way of living. That's valid, and thousands of studies could show this. The most important question is, are you ready? Are you ready, or your partner or your customer ready to reduce stress and burden? Are you ready to strengthen the body? Are you ready to strengthen your regulatory power and to stimulate your self-healing? That's the most important. Are you ready to do it? Are you ready to invest? And these are not big things. You don't have to change everything in your life. You just turn little wheels, yeah, or you do you put leverage on different elements in your life, and you have an accumulate result in the end. And that's also an idea in this metabolic cure. So the cure has a basis, that's aloe vera and ProBalance. Now we were going to talk about why is that the basis and what these products are doing. And then if you focus more on the metabolism, you would maybe take colostrum. If you focus more on the intestines, you would take Pro12. If you want to combine it, that's always the best way. You have all the 4 products at once, yeah, because they support each other, as you will see. Let's start with aloe, the drinking gel. I can talk about all the aspects and all the specialists in here. Of course, we don't have the time for that, but let's take a short look about what is the aloe doing and doing simultaneously. And that's interesting for such a medical plant like aloe vera. It works on basic systems in the body, like the anti-inflammatory, the inflammatory system. So it has anti-inflammatory effects. It has cleansing and stimulating effects on metabolism, especially on blood sugar, on blood lipids. It provides a lot of micronutrients, and it supports the intake of micronutrients from your food. That's very special, and we don't know about any other plant that could do this. It works on the immune system in terms of immune modulating. That could mean strengthening the immune system or balancing the immune system. Both capacities are in the aloe vera, and it has regenerative and preventive effects, and only to name a few. And how do we know? There are hundreds or even thousands, actually than 4,400 studies in the big medical libraries where you can find all the results about the usage of aloe vera. There are many, many studies also for the usage for different kinds of diseases to support. It is not a special remedy for a specific disease. It helps the body to deal with all kinds of stresses, and that will be beneficial for dealing with any kind of disease, without saying that that will reduce a specific symptom in a certain amount of time. This is always hard to say. Yeah. So what makes the aloe vera so effective? That is really a special blend or formulation of a wide range of ingredients, like vitamins, like minerals, trace elements, amino acids, enzymes, very special, highly effective mono and polysaccharides. Maybe you heard about asemanan. Yeah, this is very well established. A substance that is produced in a young body of a young human body, but then we lose this capacity, so body can help to regenerate cells and organs in the tissue in the body. So we have quite a lot of bioactive plant substances, like in all healing plants, and many more, even plant hormones and essential oils and so. And the interesting thing here is that it's not the single substance in the aloe. It's not that just this is so effective. It is the coming together. It's the playing together of all these ingredients. So they work like an orchestra that plays together. And that is really special, because if you look at other medical plants, very often you have specific ingredients that work especially on certain issues. And here in the aloe, they work together. Yeah, they tell us a story of a symphony, or this of working together, of communication. Yeah, so it is actually a principle in nature, like in ecology, that all the things work together and they create something that is more than just the sum of the parts. Yeah, and that is true for many basic principles in natural medicine. Yeah. So when we take a look now at the product level, so you have aloe traditional honey. Honey means that there's 7 to 9% honey in the aloe, or mixed with the aloe, and it is said that it helps the aloe working in the body. So it can used as a health or cleansing cure to improve the metabolism. When you reach a point in your life where you say, maybe, okay, I want to start living a healthier life. How can I start? I can start with actually cleansing the body, giving it support for a longer period of time, changing my diet accordingly, doing a little bit more exercise, going outside. And so as a start in such a period of your life, it is very ideal, I would say. Also, if you are on a path of weight loss, or for supporting your intestines and so on. You always start slowly, and you can go up to 3 times 30 milliliter per day. You can exceed, you can even take more if you have a feeling that it works good. You can take a little bit less, but that's the corridor in which you can apply this. And you should use it at least for 3 to 6 months. You can use it longer. And you should combine it with ProBalance, 3 times 4 ProBalance. I will come to that. If you don't want to use something with sugar in the honey, you can have aloe vera peach. It is sugar-free as an alternative, and it's the same. Yeah. And please consider you have all the effects that I mentioned before simultaneously when you drink. Yeah. So that's maybe more suitable for people with diabetes, or when you have a period of weight loss and don't want to take in additional sugar. Again, in combination, it works best in combination with ProBalance. Or if you are at a certain age, maybe 50, 55, you want to support especially the vessels and the heart, and the sting nestle that is added here, and with the silicon that is in there, you support especially your vessels. And of course, with 2 capsules of super omega with omega-3 fatty acids, you have a strong support for your vessels, and that's already a good anti-aging program also, aloe, ProBalance, and super omega. And please consider there are always more to say. For instance, the silicon is also good for your bone health. It's also an issue for older people, especially for women with osteoporosis and stuff. And because of the wide range of supportive power, you can use also as a support with chronic intestinal inflammation, with joint inflammation, with all kinds of inflammational diseases, or where inflammation is part of the disease. If you then take aloe vera, especially in combination with super omega, you support the body in dealing with inflammation, to reduce inflammation. Because of the influence on the immune system, you can use it with allergic diseases, or also with you have frequent colds, or to support and strengthen the immune system, especially in the darker period of the year, or if you have a lot of stress, or if you have a weaker immune system due to medication, operations and stuff. Because of all the valuable ingredients and the ability to support the intake of vitamins, you can just use the aloe to support your overall supply of micronutrients. If your nutrition is poor, if you are on a certain diet, or especially for older people, because for older people it's really hard to get all the micronutrients because they eat less, and then they cannot chew right properly, or they have inflammations in the stomach or in the gut system, so the intake of micronutrients is reduced. So many reasons why especially people from the age of 55, 60 really benefit from all kinds of supports of the micronutrients, and especially also from aloe vera. And also for people who have difficulties with their metabolism, high cholesterol, elevated blood lipids, or diabetes, blood sugar. So it can help the body in regulate and these kind of factors. The application is, as I said already, you start slowly. You start maybe with 3 times 5, 3 times 10 milliliter daily, up to 3 times 30, or even more if you have the feeling that it works best for you. You can, yeah. Because of the impact is mild, is not as strong as medication. It unfolds over a period of time. So you cannot drink a bottle over a week and then say, okay, I still have this and that. give it time. Yeah, it took years to develop all these lifestyle related diseases, so they not disappear within days or weeks. And continuous intake is possible. That's important because it's free of allergen. Yeah. So the original plant you cannot use over a longer period of time because there are ingredients that influence the body in a way that is not good for a longer period of time. And these ingredients like allergen are removed totally. So it's allergen free. And that's why it's suitable for taking it even continuously. Yeah, that's of course possible. So let's take a look on acidity, especially in probalance. Actually, there's more than acidity to probalance. Actually, there are three pillars. The first is the support or the security of supply with the four vital minerals: calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. We could say a lot about this. We don't do it here because we don't have the time. Then we have trace elements like copper, chromium, again, silicon, and molybdenum. And then we have, and that's the interesting issue here now, then we have the alkaline potential due to the carbonates and especially the citrates that are in there. And this is a high level ingredient that is very valuable and helpful for the body. And let's take a short look on this part of the story. So what we call acidosis. Acidosis as a result of the lifestyle is due to our nutrition and the changes we experienced over a long period of time. And acidosis comes into our system due to stress. So a stressed organism will be an organism with the acid load, and especially under stress, we have poor nutrition, and they often come together, and that's why it's a severe issue. If you want to know if your acid-base system is in balance, you should check what is the relation between food that comes with an acid load and food that comes with a base load in the body. Nothing of that is per se good or bad. The most important question is the relation. So how much food brings acid in the body, how much food brings base in the body. So to be in the balance, and that is due to the evolutionary development we make over millions of years, is have you 80% of your nutrition base related, so means vegetable, fruits, roots, and seeds, and what we had, and only 20% meat. This is how we grew up as humans over long periods of time. We had vegetables, leaves, fruits, and every once in a while there was an elephant or a gazelle or a gnu or something like that. Though we had meat, so we had 20% of our total nutrition was meat, and 80% has been fruits and vegetables. And then the acid-base system is in balance. And then we got 10,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago, we got dairy products, and they deliver a lot of acid load. Then we added cereals like bread and pasta, and they also pay into the acid part. And so we have a situation today where many people have 70% of their nutrition coming with an acid load, and only 30% with a base load of and plant-based. And then of course you have something that we call hyperacidity. So hyperacidity or chronic hyperacidity for the most people represents this kind of nutritional imbalance. And listen carefully, that's not a disease, but it can lead to diseases. It can promote, prolong, or aggravate various kind of diseases, like diseases of the metabolism, diseases of our bones, and very different kind of stuff. So it is a chronic stress factor in the body. Yeah. And that's true for many people in the world. And you can check, where do you see yourself in terms of the relation of these kind of nutritional factors? So ProBalance is able to balance your acid-base household, or it contributes at least. And to do so, you have to take really 3 times 4 tablets for at least 12 weeks, or then maybe half of it for 12 further weeks, or you can, of course, use it permanently. And it can be recommended when additional minerals are required with poor nutrition, with stress, with the age, if you have an acidic diet, to avoid the chronic hyperacidity in the body. And you can also ask yourself or your client if they have already symptoms or signs of hyperacidity. And one typical design is pain. In German we say sauer macht Aua. So pain, especially in the muscles, especially in the joints, and also these kind of inflammatory diseases like arthritis or rheumatism, they come with hyperacidity, especially in the areas where the inflammation is going on. Also chronic back pain. One aspect of chronic back pain is hyperacidity in the muscles. Also headaches, fatigue, and so. Not fatigue is only because of hyperacidity, but it always comes together. Or chronic metabolic diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes. It's recommended here. And of course, after heavy alcohol, because during the time of alcohol in the blood, during the time you drink, and for sometimes after, the kidneys are not able to regulate your mineral household. So you lose a lot of minerals while drinking alcohol, and to restore the minerals in the body, and that will even reduce the hangover. This we have seen already. Think about the application and keep and stay with the application. Ideally you take it after the meal, but it is not so important. More important is that you take it. So we have 2 products, the basis. And then, of course, for a healthy intestine, a functional intestinal flora is important, is basic, of course. And so we come to a very good product, Pro12. Pro12 is a combination of 12 different strains of bacteria, healthy, what we call probiotic for life bacteria, and in big numbers. So 1.5 billion bacteria are in one capsule. And now it's an important information, not the capsule that you take out of the box. The powder that you see inside when you open the capsule, that are the micro encapsulated strains of the different bacteria. That means you can open it, especially for small children, because they benefit a lot, especially after cesarean birth, or when they have when they got antibiotic very early in life, so then to destroy or really disturb the intestinal flora, and they are not able to swallow the whole capsule. You can open it, and you can give it even to small children up to from the age of 3 to 6 months. You can start this if needed. And what else do we have in the capsules? What we call prebiotics. That's the food for the probiotic bacteria. And then, of course, all kinds of fruits and vegetables are good for probiotic bacteria and should be eaten more frequently while taking this product to help the bacteria to grow inside the intestine. So probiotic bacteria are an important part of our body. Actually, we could not even live without them. This is how they look like. They live like like grass on the ground. You know, they cover the surface of our intestines, and they are involved in many different functions in the digestion, for our metabolism. They are partners for the immune system, and as modern studies show more and more, they influence even our mood, yeah, the brain health, how much I can concentrate, how alert I am. Of course, my alertness is due to different factors, but it's very interesting to see that probiotic bacteria, through substances they produce and go into the bloodstream, can influence my brain. So what we call brain fog. If you are not really concentrated, that is a factor that can come from not just from the probiotic bacteria, but from the pathogenic bacteria and strains that also live in the body. Yeah. Of course, any good story has a good part and a bad part. And actually, in a healthy living space, they are in balance. We cannot get rid of pathogenic bacteria or fungi or viruses. Yeah, actually, if we support the probiotic bacteria, they keep the whole thing in balance. Yeah, and again, our world has changed. Yeah, as we said here, nutrition, stress, all these things have, of course, an effect on our intestine and on our microbiome. And microbiome is the whole thing, all the microbiotic bacteria and fungi that live in our intestine. And then the balance is influenced and can shrink. And then we have something what we call in medicine dysbiosis. Dysbiosis means you have less probiotic bacteria and more pathogenic bacteria, more fungi. And that can, or that is a factor or a cofactor for many diseases like allergies, like frequent infections, especially on the respiratory tract. And this is due to the fact that all the surfaces, the gut system is a surface, our respiratory system is a surface, the skin is the surface, even the urogenital is a surface. Yeah. So if you have a disturbance on one of the major surfaces, like the gut system, it has influences, especially on the on the immune system and the immune response of the other surfaces like the respiratory tract. And of course, dysbiosis is part of irritable bowel syndrome, of diarrhea, and also of chronic inflammation. And here is important, not just chronic inflammation in the intestine, but also in the whole body due to many mechanisms, and also of the brain. And that's even part of the development of dementia, Alzheimer and stuff. So you see what's going on in the intestines. It's foundational for our health and is important. So Pro12 can help us to restore a healthy gut flora. Yeah. And that you should at least consider after taking antibiotics. Antibiotics always means a heavy disturbance of the intestinal or the microbiome, and then you should take Pro12 along with the antibiotics, and for 2 to 3 months after you stop with the antibiotics. You can use a combination of Pro12, aloe, and reishi for hay fever and allergies. You can strengthen a weak immune system, especially in children when they have the difficult start with maybe a cesarean birth. Yeah, when not the right bacteria come into the intestine first, or after a period in the hospital after operations, or also with food intolerances, and of course with irritable bowel syndrome. So quite a lot of different diseases where taking additional probiotic bacteria can be beneficial even for the symptoms. And then the last product here, to mention it shortly, is colostrum. Colostrum, or also a pre-milk, is produced by all mammals to support the growth and the immune system of their offspring. So colostrum is very different from normal milk because it contains a broad variety of immune factors, of growth factors, to support the offspring immediately right after birth. So colostrum is also only available for a couple of hours after birth, and only these early colostrum is valuable. And LR is really keen on these early colostrum, and that delivers quite a high potential of valuable ingredients, many hundreds. We have 4,000 studies for aloe. We have 10,000 about colostrum because it's even a broader application also in medicine. So colostrum is, because of the growth factors, good against inflammations of the gastrointestinal tract. Yeah, it helps to regulate the immune system, so irritable bowel syndrome. Also, if you take it in the course of intestinal cures, yeah, we take a look at this right now, and to support the metabolism. Yeah, it is even used by sportsmen because it supports the growth of muscles and support weight loss. Not just taking colostrum, then you have a weight loss, but if you are on a diet, you can take it. You take 2 times 8 milliliters, especially in the evening, more on the empty stomach, and then to leave it there. Or as part of the intestinal metabolic cure, you take, if you depend it a little bit on the body weight, you take 1 milliliter per 10 kilogram. If you have more severe symptoms, you can even take more, or 3 capsules in the evening before you go to bed. Okay, let's take a final look on how the things work together. This is what we have seen already. You can take the basis and focus on metabolism, or the basis and focus on intestine, or take them all together. And taking the more different product you combine, the stronger will be the effects. And what are the effects? Stimulation of metabolism due to the aloe and the enzyme, the amino acids, the micronutrients, as we discussed already. So a reduced inflammation and a reduced oxidative stress. I haven't mentioned this so far, but it's also a very important part of the aloe. Then strengthen and balancing of the immune system, according to the aloe, as we shared. The de-acidification, or a more balanced acid-base system, and that takes off burden from the body due to probalance. You secure the supply of mineral and trace elements through probalance. You improve the intestinal flora through Pro12. Yeah, you strengthen and balance the immune system through colostrum, and you support also metabolism, body composition, and colostrum. Now it comes. All these effects take place simultaneously in parallel. And that's the secret, actually. It's not just, if you take medication, you have only one symptom. Yeah, you reduce one symptom. And that's, of course, it's legitimate that to do this. But if you work with natural medicine, if you work on this part, you have mild effects that work simultaneously and parallel. And these mild effects sum up over the time to help the body to in many different areas. So you can support prevention, you can do it as anti-aging, you can do it as a start in a healthier life to get rid of old stuff, yeah, or just to doing good on your body, to love your body from the inside. And here some final recommendations. So for the intestines, as we said, with inflammational diseases, irritable bowel syndrome, food intolerances, and that's especially if you combine the products. For the immune system with hay fever, as I said, especially then also with reishi. For asthma, please very carefully with aloe and asthma, start very slowly. Yeah, maybe start with colostrum, take aloe a little bit later. Very important after antibiotics. Yeah, that's really important, especially for children. Then also for different skin diseases like psoriasis, neurodermitis, also for rheumatism, and you can also have a try with autoimmune diseases. And never forget, it's body and mind belong together. So the mood changes in the mood can be due to chronic inflammation and the inflammational level in the body. So depressive mood can come from a neurosis, of course, but can also come from chronic inflammation. Post-COVID syndrome, inflammation and disturbances in the vessels are part of post-COVID. Yeah, I would always recommend to do a cure like that, or for general strengthening or for performance enhancement. So if you give the body what it needs, like with good gasoline in the car or what, that's kind of normal thing. If you get everything you need, you are in your best version, you are in your best power, and this is what we should aim for. So, and we don't want to talk just about products, and let's start maybe with the products, but then have more fiber from diet, eat more plants. That's the very most fundamental recommendation in terms of nutrition. And of course, the whole intestinal cure will become more effective if you then eat more plants. If you maybe parallel reduce sugar, I don't say don't eat sugar, don't eat meat, but think about a reduction. Already 10%, 20% helps. And if you continue, maybe reduce about 50%, that helps a lot, really a lot. And you need patience. You need patience because lifestyle-related diseases develop over longer periods of time. Yeah, most of the time unnoticed. Only when they are really there, then we see the symptoms. But the imbalances in the body are in the body for months, years, and even decades before our regulatory capacity is not able anymore to deal with that. And then the disease actually occur and the symptoms are noticed then. So we can help the body to regulate, to self-heal, support. That is always right to do so, especially if you have a disease. And so regardless what kind of disease, you always support the body, and that's a good idea. Yeah. So good luck, stay healthy, and thank you very much for your time.